Okay, so somebody has just told you that you need ISO 27001 to close a deal. Maybe a big customer put it in the security questionnaire. Maybe procurement won't return your calls without it. And your first instinct, and everybody's first instinct, is to jump straight to the shiny stuff. Encryption, multi-factor authentication, access controls, the sexy technical toys, cute. Because here's the thing. The clause that actually decides whether your certificate means anything, whether it's real or whether it's theater, is the one everybody skims. Clause 4, context of the organization, the boring one, the one that reads like it was written by a committee that had somewhere better to be. Stay with me, because this is where certificates quietly become worthless. Let me give you a running example so this isn't abstract. Picture a small SaaS company, let's make one up. 40 people, one product, customer data in the cloud, a couple of big enterprise clients on the hook, and a founder who's just been told, get certified or lose the deal. Sound familiar? Good. We'll walk them through Clause 4 in order because the order matters. Clause 4.1, understanding the organization and its context. What the standard actually asks is simple. Work out the internal and external issues that are relevant to your information security and to what your management system is supposed to achieve, external issues, your market, your legal environment, your technology landscape, your supply chain, internal issues, your culture, your resourcing, how you actually build and ship things. For our SaaS company, that means writing down things like, we hold personal data for European customers, so data protection law applies to us. We depend on one cloud provider for everything. Half our engineering is contractors. We move fast and we break things, and one of the things we occasionally break is security. Now here's what people miss. The standard does not mandate a method for this. No fancy framework required. You just have to actually think. Genuinely sit down and think about what could hurt you and why. And because no method is mandated, most companies do the absolute minimum. They copy a generic list off the internet. Issues include cyber threats and regulation, and move on. Less. That list is supposed to drive everything downstream, your risks, your controls, your priorities. If it's generic, everything built on it is generic. You've just designed a security system for a company that doesn't exist. Clause 4.2, understanding the needs and expectations of interested parties, translation. Who actually cares about your information security, and what do they want from you? Customers, regulators, staff, shareholders, suppliers in the UK, the Information Commissioner's Office, the people who come knocking when personal data goes walkabout. For our SaaS company, the big enterprise client cares about contract clauses on breach notification. The regulator cares about data protection law. Staff care that their own records aren't leaking. Your cloud provider has terms you've agreed to and probably never read. And then, and this is the bit people skip, you decide which of those requirements are relevant to your management system, including the legal, regulatory, and contractual ones that Word Decide is doing real work. It's a judgment call made by you written down that an auditor can look at and challenge. It is not a stakeholder list you knocked up in 10 minutes to fill a template, but watch, because now we get to the big one, Clause 4.3. Determining the scope. This is where you draw the boundary, what's inside the management system and what's out, and the standard says you have to consider those issues from 4.1, those requirements from 4.2, and the interfaces and dependencies between what you do and what other people do for you. So the scope isn't a free choice, it's supposed to fall out of everything you just worked through. Supposed to. Here's the comfortable lie. Scope is where companies play games. Our SaaS founder gets advice, maybe from a consultant who gets paid on certification, not on security. And the advice is, keep the scope small. Certify the head office, certify one team, certify the information security function itself, and quietly leave out the product, the customer data, the contractors, the messy bits. The certificate goes on the website, technically true, practically worthless. Pay no attention to the scope statement behind the curtain. And look, I get the temptation. Smaller scope, faster audit, lower cost, deal closed. What could possibly go wrong? Well, the scope is printed on the certificate. Anyone who reads it, and serious customers do read it, can see exactly what you excluded. A security team at a big enterprise client looks at a scope that covers your reception desk and not your platform, and they know precisely what game you played. You haven't fooled the auditor. You haven't fooled the customer. You've spent a year and a pile of money fooling yourself. That's not a security posture. That's a very expensive binder. This is why some certificates mean something and some are theater. Same standard, same logo, completely different animal. And the difference lives in Clause 4.3. Clause 4.4, the short one, with the biggest verb in it. You shall establish, implement, maintain, and continually improve the information security management system. Continually improve. It's a living system. It runs, it gets measured, it gets fixed, it gets better. It is not a folder of policies you dust off 2 weeks before the surveillance audit in the valley of the shadow of the auditor. For our SaaS company, it means security is now part of how the business runs forever, not a project with an end date. So here's the through line. Clause 4 is the foundation. Nobody makes a video about it because it isn't a control. There's no gadget. But context feeds parties, parties feed scope, scope defines the system, and everything else in the entire standard, every risk assessment, every control, every audit sits on top of it. Get it wrong, and every clause after it is built on sand. Get the scope dishonest, and the certificate is a prop. Now, honest caveat time. I'm not a certified lead auditor. I'm not selling you a certification package. I'm a plain speaking guide who has watched people treat this stuff as a box ticking exercise and then act surprised when the box bites back. And yeah, no, I do get weirdly animated about scope statements, which tells you everything you need to know about my social calendar, but the argument stands on its own. Real security follows honest scope. Theater follows convenient scope. That's the whole game. So here's what you do, and here's my dare. Before you buy a single tool, before you write a single policy, go and read your own draft scope. Or if you're already certified, pull the certificate off the wall and read what it actually covers. Then ask yourself one question. If my biggest customer read this scope line by line, would they nod or would they laugh? If the answer makes you wince, good. You just found the real starting line. Now fix Clause 4 first. Everything else can wait.